Good morning, you're listening to 92.7 Arrow FM, and this is a Nothing Personal show with Nikki King, this show has come about from the Wairarapa Women in Business Facebook group, and there is about 600 women in there now, so that's a pretty big community of businesswomen. Who'd have believed that Wairarapa has that many businesswomen? But we do. We've got a lot of creative people, and we tend to have quite a lot of those creative people on this show. Just a quick shout out to my sponsors, Wairarapa Osteopathy. Thank you, Jane, for your kind sponsorship this year. It's been really, really welcome, because this is an access radio show. We don't have any advertising, so our sponsors are key to what we do, and my business is stumping up the other side of that sponsorship. That's Fuzzbox Designs, and we do websites and all sorts of other creative things. We take pictures. We also do videos, anything like that. We could do a little bit of anything. So give us a shout if you think you want our services. Okay, so this morning I have got a fabulous guest. I've had this guest on before, and it was lots of fun, and we had lots of fun together. And she's got this particular business. It's an amazing business. It's real good fun, and I'm going to introduce you now to Heather Bannister. Good morning, Heather.
Hello, Nikki.
Do you want to come a little bit closer into the mic?
Yeah, I can do that.
That's better. Cool. That's brilliant. So you've been going... Tell us a little bit about Come Sew With Me, because some people might not have seen the last show.
Right. Come Sew With Me is a working sewing machine museum where I've put my little collection of... Actually, we started off when it opened... A year ago, there was like about 120-ish. Now it's kind of closer to the 200-ish mark.
200
sewing machines.
Wow, that's a lot.
Stinking gorgeous. Yeah. They're walking in the door. It's so sad. I've got to welcome them with open arms and a can of sewing machine oil.
So it's a year tomorrow, is it?
A year tomorrow.
Happy
10 o'clock in the morning. That was when I opened the doors and people were waiting, and it still happens. Yeah.
That's fantastic,
it's
isn't
wonderful.
It? It's fantastic to see those old sewing machines coming back out and being used again.
Yes, and the difference between this working museum is that usually you go to working museums and you see other people using their precious exhibits.
Yes.
But in this one, you come in and you can look at, you can stroke, you can drool on, and you can actually use these machines. And if you've never sewn before, you can, because we help. We help you. We have everything there, and we have the knowledge. We have the, we help you to. We've had people come in that have said, "Oh, I'll just have a little look around. I just want to be here. I heard it's a nice place to be, but I would just break your machines, and I got no creativity." And I said, "Well, you just have a little go here," and you pass them a wee thing, and within 5 minutes they've made a thing, and all that self-doubt and all that baggage they've been carrying around for the last 50 years or so, it's gone, because, they made a whole thing, they didn't break anything, and they can feel proud, and they can go on to the next thing and just rejoice over it as they have their cup of tea with fresh scones that I bake every day.
Gosh, you're enticing me in there again.
China,
I know. I'm gonna have to
all the works.
I'm gonna have to go. Well, it's so cool, isn't it? It's so cool that you've got all this old sort of. You can have a cup of tea and come and have a sew and catch up with your friends. And I've seen the Facebook. I follow your Facebook page, and I see all these marvelous things that people make.
Yes.
And it's just so awesome. It's like it's a working museum, but also like a sewing club as well.
Well, it is. It is. And some people have said, "Oh, is this a club? Can I join? What do I have to do? Where do I sign?" I said, "Well, you just walk in and you just sit down and you make yourself comfortable. It's everybody's welcome."
Yeah, and it's so awesome that these are all like vintage machines.
Yeah.
The things that you saw in your grandma's parlour.
That's right. Yeah, and you don't have to not touch.
Yeah, that's right.
You can just sew touch, and you can just make these beautiful things, because these machines, they're made of cast iron, for goodness sake, most of them.
Yeah. They're heavy.
That's right. And most of them have been going for 100 years or so, and they'll go for another 100 years or so. You can't do that with a new plastic Fantastic, can't you?
No, and the ones that are on the treadle, you can use them when the power goes out.
There, and the hand cranks.
Exactly.
Marvellous.
Exactly. Do you have any electric machines in your...
I have.
You do?
I have. I have a few foot pedal or knee lever jobs. Yeah.
Knee lever?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
I've
yeah,
never used a knee
which
lever
is-
machine.
Yeah. Well, you either love them or you don't. And for those often people that have like used one for the first time, then they quite like that.
Yeah. You got to get your knee so it doesn't over jump. I would imagine.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. So and so you've been going a whole year now, and have you seen quite a lot of different people come through your doors?
Oh, absolutely. People from all over Masterton, all over New Zealand, and we've had people coming from other countries as well. It's quite special, because they've come all that way just to see come sew with me because they've seen it or heard of it, and then while they're here, they get to see the rest of Masterton as well, which is really neat because it's a lovely place. Yeah.
You've garnered a bit of attention because you were on 7 Sharp, weren't you?
I blinking was, yeah.
I was like,
I'm a good sort.
I know. And that was just around the time you were on here last time, because I remember they begged to after me. I had it first.
Yeah. You got me first, but that was really
cool.
exciting.
It was good.
And we got so much good feedback from there. And even now, because it's on YouTube, you just Google Good Sorts Heather Bannister or Come Home With Me, and it's people are still seeing it, and they're coming in and I'd like to give you my sewing machine, or we've heard about this place on the telly, and we want to bring you wanted to have a look and see this is amazing. Yeah.
But not only that, you got a very special award this year, didn't you?
Yeah, kind of did. It was really, it was kind of, I came home one day and it was just really busy day. I thought, and because it's always exciting, but it takes a bit out of you the day. And check on my emails, and there was this one saying, you have been nominated as a local hero for the New Zealander of the Year. And I thought, you what? And then I had to check all the links that were on just to make sure it was like real.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Wow. And then I was actually not just nominated but chosen, and I thought, wow, just to be nominated is a real,
I know,
really special. And then so on the 3rd of December, which was just last Monday. Yeah, that was when the presentation was, but unfortunately I couldn't make it because my mother had just recently passed away at the ripe old age of 89, just a couple of weeks shy of 90.
Wow.
No, a couple of weeks shy of 89. And so we were attending her funeral in Auckland, and it had to close the cottage down for a week, which was a bit sad.
Yeah.
And so my dear friend Pauline Nelson went in and received the award for me, and did a very good job of it. So that was at the Beehive. So
wow,
that was very exciting.
So how did you feel when you realised it was real, that you'd been nominated? That must have been an honour.
Oh, it kind of was. It was just kind of like I was in La La Land for a few minutes, and till I had to snap into reality and sort of like do the dishes and things that TV heroes don't do. But
that's all right. Yeah, so life still goes on.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing, though. Did you find out who nominated you?
No.
Oh, that's cool.
No.
Yeah, just always be a dark secret now. Somebody in your roundabout. But that's such an amazing thing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So you got recognised for all this hard work, because it's completely run by donation, isn't it? It's a
yes by Koha, and now and then I'll get a sewing job or something, or we've had a couple of grants. I should say a thank you. The council gave us $2,000 as a grant for the creative community.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
Thank you. So I was able to pay a bit of rent that I owed them. So that was very helpful. And we've just had a grant from Trust House for $2,500. So and that was to go towards rent and power and a bit of supplies. So we're very thankful for that, because it's
So if you're
a big thing.
If you're out there watching and you want to donate to the Sewing Machine Museum, I'm sure Heather would be gratefully accept your donations.
Yes. We accept sewing machines, fabric, anything sewing related, and money is extremely helpful because we have to buy stuff sometimes and pay the rent.
Yes,
and that can actually go on we have a Give a Little page.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Do you want to give it a mention so people can
we
donate
have a Give a Little page, and that can be found you just Google up Give a Little, come sew with me, and I'll take you right there, and I'll actually bop it up on the Facebook page as well when I go home tonight too. That makes it
I
easier.
think that's absolutely fabulous, and I think if you want to donate to a worthy cause, I know that lots and lots of people get loads of joy out of being at Come Sew With Me. So you're not just helping Heather with her sewing machines, but all those people that come along to and get pleasure out of using the machines.
Actually, it's giving pleasure not just to me, and it's not just a show off of the machines, but there's the whole community.
It's a community thing.
There's even a worldwide thing, because I have messages from people in America, in England, China, all over the world, and they say, well, stuff is so hard at the moment. There's a lot of junk going on worldwide. You don't have to look too hard to find that out, and so they wake up and they check out my latest post, and they say, it's just so nice to see that there's good stuff going on in the world.
That's right.
There's hope. There's kindness. There's and it just lifts them up for the rest of the day. And
That's right.
I'm not just blowing my own horn. This is what they're saying.
Yes.
And to be able to support a thing like that is just really cool.
And I actually think that it's great that that this craft that we're forgetting, sewing, is being taught to older people, and people coming back to it.
It is.
It's
I
fantastic.
had a woman come in, and she's in her late 60s, and she's just been able to properly retire, and she would now like to learn how to sew.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
Because you're never too old to learn things.
That's right.
I learned to play the trumpet when it's not old, but I was 25 when I learned the trumpet. I'd learned other things previously, but and I'm a big person about learning new things,
Yes.
So I learned. My grandma tried to teach me how to knit when I was a kid, and I never got on with it. I used to drop stitches, have holes everywhere, and I learned to knit when I moved to New Zealand. So I learned, and not only did I learn to knit, but I learned to knit socks. I used to go to a sock club.
Wow, socks are like,
so I used
hardcore.
I used to go to sock club, and I know that those community craft groups are really helpful to people, especially when they move into the area.
Yes.
It's a place where people can go and learn something new and enjoy a new craft. So what sort of things do you make over in Come Sew With Me?
Oh man, everything from like mending, hems, right through to there's a ball gown made, and a lady brought along a wedding dress that she rehashed and did up. But there's clothing, lots of bags, lots of shopping bags now that we're going out of, and aprons and toys, soft toys, like nobody's business, but they're not just your regular what you'd buy on the shelf. They're just people are putting themselves and really making them interesting and exciting, and quilts for Africa, because I'm a bit of a quilter, and the things that you're passionate about, if they often sort of like rub off onto other people.
Well, quilting can become addictive, can't it? I know quilters.
Yes.
And their fabric stashes and things like that.
Yes. And the really neat thing about them is every now and then, like, their fabric stash grows to a great immense. But then they see something else that they really, really, really need to got to have, but they need to, use something first, so that they've been pushing a bit of their stash onto me, which has been
nice.
really neat. So we, have some lovely fabrics for the ladies to use. But it's not just ladies; we have men.
That's
And
amazing.
boys
That's awesome.
coming through too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and people from all the different cultures. It's really, really neat to see everybody,
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like, remember what we need is a great big melting pot, won't sing it. The song, and that's what it's like.
Yeah.
We just got a great big melting pot. We've got all the ages, all the cultures, everybody just getting
awesome.
along. And yeah.
So I know that King Street Artwork had a steampunk ball. Did anybody make anything for that at your place?
Yeah, there was definitely a bit of steampunkery going on.
Oh, yeah, because that's a big thing, isn't it? You've got to make your own clothes because you can't really go out and buy those kind of things.
Well, you can get, people to make them, but generally, the people that I know that come through don't have that kind of money.
No, that's right,
and it's more fun. It's more fun. It's really exciting to be able to get stuff and modify it and use all sorts of weird things. And
and I going back to the gifts, I think it's really nice if you were given a homemade gift.
Lots of gifts.
Yeah.
I think 80% of what's made at the cottage is given away.
Yeah.
And so, it's a gift to be able to actually make a thing like that.
That's
and create a thing and sort of, it just makes you feel really good. So you're giving to yourself, and then you're giving the gift to somebody else.
That's
and
right.
It's just all this feel goodness.
My kids used to love it. I haven't got the time to do it now, but when I used to knit socks, and they'd all queue up for a pair of knitted socks as a gift. So I'd have a production like that.
You'll have me standing in the line next.
I don't have time to do it, but they've still got some of those socks now. They've still got them and they keep them. They're very sort of precious because somebody's actually put their own effort into it.
Can't throw that away.
No.
Auntie Nikki made it.
And I've got a quilt that somebody made me that's quite special as well, and that everybody loves in the house. Because it's a patchwork and it's a kiwi influence. Because there's some lovely fabrics with like kiwis and stuff on, isn't there? Some lovely kind. So so quilting's worth investigating, guys. And if you want to try it out.
Yes, or anything else.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I should mention is, this being our birthday week, every day's a party. We've got to have cake every day, and tomorrow night being the actual birthday,
yes,
I'm going to open at 7 in the evening, and we're going to just have a party.
Oh, fantastic!
No booze, but lots of tea and scones and cake and stuff, and the sewing machines. I'll put a few aside so we got room to mingle. And
that sounds fantastic.
So anybody that would consider themselves to be a friend of the cottage, or who would like to be a friend of the cottage, is very welcome. 7 o'clock tonight till...
Is that tomorrow night?
That's tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, because once a month we usually open for Saturday crafternoon in the afternoon.
Yes.
And we missed that this last time because I was in Auckland.
Yep.
So this coming Saturday being the culmination and the end of the week, we're going to be open for the 10 to 4 like a regular day, and we're going to... Bit of a gala, we'll have a sausage sizzling, we'll have some things to sell, and all the rest of Rose Cottage magic happening.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic.
Everybody's welcome to that too, and of course during the week.
So so what hours do you open during the week?
10 to 4, 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, Monday to Friday.
Oh, that's awesome. So you can pop in, see the sewing machines, and Heather's got so much passion that she'll show you the machines and all. You got some fantastic little mini ones because you brought those on last time.
Yes, I did. I didn't think to bring another in, but yes.
They were awesome. So for people who weren't listening last time, what gave you the idea to have a sewing machine museum?
6 years ago, a very lovely lady, gave me a hand crank little sewing machine, and I loved it so much, and it was just wonderful to use. And then I thought, oh, this is lovely. I'd like to try a treadle. And so I got myself a treadle, and I loved that too. And after that, I just kept seeing them everywhere. And they needed saving generally, you know, from terrible things happening to them, or they're going to the dump or something. So I started collecting them, and then I learned how to sort of service them. Thank you, Mr. Google. And then those, yes, they started overtaking the house a little bit. And one of my daughters said, one day, Mum, when you die, we'll have to start a sewing machine museum in your honour. And I thought, well, that's very nice, darling, but why wait till I'm dead? And so it was something in the back of my mind that I would do one day, when something, you know, when something came about to make it possible. And I thought it would be just a long time away. And then one of the urban dream brokers contacted me and said, we're looking for people to with creative ideas to fill empty spaces. And that was the beginning.
Yeah, I remember that project. It was pretty good, eh?
It was very exciting, and we looked at lots of shops and things, spaces, which I'm glad we never was able to get into those, because if I'd found a nice shop space in Queen Street, I'd be out by now. It would have been a 2-month wonder. And we found Rose Cottage, and the council kindly let us have it for a few months rent-free.
Oh, that's nice,
and
isn't
then it was kind of like, yes, but, you know, one more month and we want to rent it out and get money. And so I said, well, you know, how about me? And it's been a struggle to pay the rent, because we're just koha by donation, but and we're still a little bit behind. But so we're looking for funding and looking for different sort of like out of the box ways of being able to sort of like keep ourselves there, because it would just be so sad if we'd have, you know, couldn't stay, because we've become such an important part of the community. It's sort of like, you know, not just an extra little thing. No. It's you know, a lot of people come, and some come every day, all day, and for them we have one girl I know, she won't mind mentioning, I won't mention the name, an autistic young woman who used to before coming to us, she was sort of like had the fear of going out. She was, you know, spent most of her time in a bedroom or in a home, and to get her out in the community was a really hard thing.
Oh, wow.
Since coming to Rose Cottage, which she was more or less sort of like pushed to go by her caregiver and her mother, and then she would come for an hour once a week for, you know, a month or two, and then she started to come of her own accord and stay all day, every day. And from there, she actually goes out shopping, and she's made friends. And she's fired her caregiver because she doesn't need her anymore. Isn't that a wonderful story?
That is wonderful.
True. Yes,
and it must just be, you know, being part of your community and being able to complete things.
It is.
Having that confidence.
Yeah. And one thing a lot of people say when they come in is, "Oh, this is so lovely. It's like a home, and I feel safe here."
Yeah.
Which is, and it's not just a physical safety thing, because you know, we're not that scary a town. I mean, but it's an, you know, that they know that they're not going to get bullied. They don't have to put up their defences. You know, they can feel comfortable, and that's a really special thing. You know, and if that's all I ever attain, and we've done it, then you know, life is worth living. You know,
it is, and wonderful. You're an inspiration, Heather, to all these people. It must be amazing. to have these people come and support you.
Yeah, well, I can't even pick my nose in public now. Everyone's watching me. You know?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, it's so inspiring to Pete, you know. And I can imagine it's probably like you've got a beautiful cottage there to be in.
Oh,
and,
it is.
You know,
It's
so
lovely.
it's like coming to grandma's doing a bit of, no offence, I'm not saying you're a grandma, but, you know, going to grandma's cottage and that safe feeling where you make it doing the crafts with a lot of other people in your family. And it's just awesome. I should come and do some sewing because I don't have a machine anymore. I should come to crafternoons or something once a month because I probably could fit that into my schedule.
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah. But there's all machines I'd love to use one. My grandma used to sew all of she used to make me dresses and things when I was a kid, and she used to make all of her stuff on the treadle machine. And by that time, everybody was getting electric machines, you know, Singer and all those with a foot pedal. But she stuck with her treadle.
Good on her.
For all of her life. And I think we were talking about this last time, how people used to keep all sorts of very interesting things in their machines.
Yes,
and she had plans for the house in the circuit, the bits, you know, and little drawers with all sorts of knickknacks in.
Yeah, we were given one lovely treadle machine recently, and all sorts of amazing things in the drawers. And one of the things that I found was a card. Now, the lady who gave it to me, she said it came from her uncle's home, and he lived there with his two sisters who were spinsters, and they had this machine which had been their mother's. And so when, as each of the sisters died, and then the brother, which was the woman's uncle, closed that room off that had the sewing machine, and that was the one that they used, the parlour probably, and so he never touched that. But in this machine, amongst all this stuff, was a card, and there was a letter on it from an admirer or a friend of one of the aunts, and it was really special. You know, he'd been, I went to the races and I was looking out for you, and I couldn't find you there, and you know, and you know, it just went on, and it was a little bit personal, but I just thought, oh, how special. So I have sent that letter back to the woman, because I think that needs to be in the family. But, you know...
Snapshots of history, of family history, kept in the machine.
Old cigarette packets and you know... and sort of like the tins that, you know, that have sort of like corn things, or... all sorts of funny little tins, and they're full of buttons and...
Needle threaders
and pieces. Yes, it's so cool.
Yeah, I used to like that. I used to go in and find all these old things, you know.
It was really funny. The other day, a lady who was going back overseas, and she'd been coming to help care for her grandchildren, and she was, you know, she hadn't brought any of her crochet hooks or wool or anything, and she was going spare. She needed something to do, so she'd borrowed some things from us, and just before she left, she came back with a thank you and a card and a tin of biscuits. And it's really funny because people bring in biscuit tins that are full of sewing stuff, and it actually had biscuits in it, and people were looking for sewing stuff and thinking, and then, what? There's biscuits in here. You know? Biscuits in our sewing tin.
Where's my buttons gone? Because that's what they did. They put all the things in a little tin. I think my mum had a big roses tin that had all the cottons in and needles and stuff like that, you know. And there used to be a real sort of culture around it, didn't there?
Yeah.
But now we sort of just buy these really cheap fabric garments that have been manufactured by people abroad instead of making our own thing, don't we? Yeah. And then throw them away when they fall apart.
Exactly.
I used to find it quite therapeutic to sew. I remember getting my very first own sewing machine and making my own curtains, and they probably cost more than the ones in the shop, but I made them. You know, they were my fabric and sort of measure twice, cut once, and this fabric's cost me so much money, I must get this right. But it's a really good skill to have.
It is.
So what I'm going to do now is I'll play some music because we're about halfway through. So that's already. Make sure I get the right thing. So I'm going to play today. I'm going to play some Meridian Vibe. They're a band from Auckland who have been in the area. They played over at Glastonbury, the first one, and these guys got a new single out called One Step Ahead. You're listening to 92.7 Arrow FM, and this is the Nothing Personal Show with Nikki King. And we are here every Monday morning, 9:30, live on air, Arrow FM. But also we go out on the TV, on Wairarapa TV, and what an amazing resource that is for the community. We go out on Wairarapa TV at 12 noon, at 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. today, which is Monday, and on a Tuesday we go out at 6 p.m. and we've got a repeated show at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday on the radio. And we're kindly supported by Wairarapa Osteopathy, Jane Burns. It's got two locations, one in Carterton at the Wairarapa Natural Health Clinic, and the other is at the Selfield Clinic in Masterton on Lincoln Road. And osteopathy's marvellous. It sorts out all your aches and pains. So hop along there, and I'm sure she'd be glad to look at how, give you an opinion on what's wrong and help you sort yourself out. And it'd be great if you mentioned that you heard about her on here, if you did, so that'd be cool. And also we're sponsored by Fuzzbox, which is my business, so we stump up the other bit of the sponsorship for the show because we're an access station. And I've got a very, very special guest this morning. I've got Heather Bannister, and she's also part of a community project, and it's the amazing Sewing Machine Museum in Queen Elizabeth Park at Rose Cottage, and it's Heather Bannister. Good morning, Heather, for those who have just tuned in. So we've been talking about sewing and the community and all those things that go on at Rose Cottage, and I believe you make scones as well. I believe
I do make
fantastic.
scones. Yes, they've become a little bit famous, those scones.
So Heather's project, it sprung up from the Urban Dream Brokerage, and you're looking for funding, aren't you? Because everything is provided by funding in your.
That's right.
So she's got to give a little page. So you can hop over to look for Come Sew With Me, go over to Give a Little, and you can give some valuable cash because this is a community resource. Yeah. Lots and lots of people. We were just talking.
Anything from $1.
Anything. Yes.
Right up, high as you like. But if you've only got $1, that's enough.
And also, you can donate your old sewing machines, old fabrics, old notions, buttons, cotton, needles, anything that you've got there. I'm going to go through my garage when I get home. I'm going to bring you some stuff up. I keep meaning to bring it up. It's just getting in there and doing it. So I'm going to bring. I've got about 4 rolls of fabric. I've got a big box of buttons.
Oh, wonderful.
So I'll bring those over. I might even bring you my knitting things because I don't knit much anymore.
Oh, that's great. We've got some knitters and crocheters that come along, and
nice. Yeah. So what I was saying earlier before we went off for the musical break that I used to do some knitting in a group. So groups are quite good though because you get to hear all sorts of stories. People talk to each other.
Yes.
Does that happen over at Rose Cottage?
It does. It does. Sometimes someone just wants to sit, and just be a little quiet, and that's fine. Or otherwise, sometimes they get together and you just chat about whatever. It's nice. It's nice. It's a very friendly atmosphere.
Yeah, so people become friends, obviously.
Absolutely. And there's a real caring thing going on for the ones that often come. And it's, if somebody doesn't come for a while, it's sort of, we miss the person, and they'll be giving them a call and checking up and
oh, that's cool.
And that's really nice. Or the folk that just pop in every now and then, it's sort of like, oh, we haven't seen, this person for a little while. And and then they walk in and it's, hello, we've missed you. Nice to see you. What's been going on? So,
it's nice to be part of that community. And, if you're new to the area, it's an ideal way to get to know someone, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's cool. So you can make your way along, and I know Heather and I we were talking in the break about funding, and she's thinking about getting people to become friends.
Friends of the cottage.
Friends of the cottage. So if you're interested in, yeah. So what do you think that might involve? I mean, I know it's pretty new.
We could just leave this ride open because if you sort of like make, oh, words go out of my head. if you're sort of like, to be the friend of the cottage, you should do A, B, and C. Then that might cut a few people out. So, just to be a friend of a cottage, you could come along and just be there, tell people about us, or you could help out in some way.
Yes.
And that would be really helpful. If you could either give a little, whether it's money, time, perhaps collecting some things, making yourself available. Perhaps you'd like to come in and fold some fabrics and tidy things up, or just do a little bit of baking because we provide morning tea and afternoon tea for people, and also lunch and perhaps you would have a good idea you people out there, perhaps you could have some good ideas for...
If you've got a good idea for helping Come Sew With Me, get in touch with Heather. She's got a Facebook page. It's Come Sew With Me Limited, because I tagged you this morning.
Yes.
So you can pop over there, and you know, Heather's really responsive on social media. So send her a message if you've got some ideas, or if you want to donate some money, because some people don't have time, but they have money and they'd like to donate to something. So because some people are really time poor, they're the other way, you know, but they've got a bit of cash. So if you're a business, you can support. It'd be amazing.
I'd be very, very happy to support any business or entity that is prepared to support me in some way, even if it's just, you know, giving some.
Yeah, you could tag them on your Facebook page.
But I'll be very happy. We actually had a wee problem with our plumbing the other day, and one of the kind ladies said, "Oh, you need a plunger in the kitchen. I'll go and get you a plunger, shall I?" And she went over to Auto Paint, which is in Queen Street. Yep. And then 5 minutes later, she came back and she said, "Here we are. Here's a plunger from Auto Paint, free."
Nice.
And then the very next day, I took them a batch of scones, and they said to me, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." And I said, "Well, you didn't have to give me a plunger." So
yes, I know.
So, you know, I'm very happy to promote and put up any, you know, stickers or signs or whatever, so long as they don't cover up all my stuff. I'm very happy to promote any business or entity that is willing to, you know. And I think as businesses we need to sort of like help each other out.
We do.
I've actually got one of Carpet Court's little rhinoceroses.
Oh, nice.
In there, and they said, "Now don't tell people we give these away to just anybody." So I said, no. So but yes. So
have you made anything for the rhinoceros yet?
Well, he was asking for a Santa hat the other day, cheeky sod, but, you know, I just might do that.
It's the time of year for Santa hats, isn't it?
Yes,
I bet there's been a few made over the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, there haven't, but I think it's, you know, getting on to that time. This time last year, there were Christmas stockings, little felt stockings being made left, right and centre, so I think I need to cut out a few of those ready for folk to come in.
And I suppose a nice easy project when you're starting off is a cushion as well.
Cushions, pin
Santa
cushions,
hat.
bags, Santa hat, that's a good one.
Yeah, just to run them up.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I'll have to come and try these hand crank. I can't, in my head, can't work out how you would sew with a hand crank. And
it's magic. It just is. When I'm using any other machine, whether it's an electric one or a treadle, I need both hands. When I'm using a hand crank, just no sweat. One is good enough. But because I think it's because you've got such absolute control of the speed.
You have the needle.
And what's happening that, you know, it's not going to get away on you.
Yeah.
So it's just magic, hand crank magic. That's all it is. You know, I can't explain it away scientifically. It just is.
No, it's one of those things because I'm a bit unco, you know, and it's like, oh, how would I manage that? Because I can't generally coordinate anything, you know. Well, but yeah, I'll have to give that a go. Yeah. Otherwise, sew my fingers or.
You won't. Promise.
I know. I actually believe you because you're so passionate about these things. And so, have you got a favourite machine?
I'm not allowed to have one. The one I'm with, you know, love the one you're with. That's the one, yeah.
So you don't have a particular favourite?
No, I'm not. They all are.
Oh, that's cool. And they've all got individual stories to tell, I would imagine.
They do.
Because they come from all sorts of different places.
Yes, they do.
So
all over the globe.
What's the most unusual machine that you've got?
Oh, flippin' heck.
Or what's the most quirky?
Quirky.
Probably not got one, have you?
It's too hard. They're also quirky. Some of them that have the really, really interesting decals, and we have some of the German ones, and they have a little dwarf. and he's all bent over and he's got this hammer.
Oh, cool.
And you know, banging down. And the thing is, I mean, these days, you know, PC people would look at that and think, oh, you know, they're making a mockery of the poor dwarf. But what it was back then, the picture of a dwarf with a hammer was a real special thing.
Yeah.
That was a sign of great craftsmanship.
Right.
And you know, and it was more of a pride thing than a mocking thing. But we've got the and then there's ones with beautiful beautiful birds, you know, pheasants and I love all the pretty pictures.
Yeah, the decals. Yeah, because they put a lot more effort. They put a lot more effort into decorating things in those days, eh?
Yeah.
Could be big lumps of steel.
Yes. Yes.
So we've got modern day brands of sewing machines like Brother and Singer. Is there any of those that are old? You've got old versions of those?
Yes, we've got old Genomes, old Brothers, old Singers, of course, and old Fafs. Yeah. So they actually did go right back. Yeah. And the ones I kind of like to have is because my husband's he likes the old cars, especially European. He likes his Alphas and things. So I can't drive. And I really don't care about those things, except that, you know, somebody else driving one can get me places. Yeah. You know. But I like to be able to brag that, you know, I got an Alpha, or I got a Jag, I got a Toyota, I got you know, all these. I got a Mitsubishi. I really have, you know.
They're sewing machines.
Yeah, and they're sewing machines. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all those brands as well, Toyota and wow, and they all were into sewing machines.
Yes,
back then.
Yeah. Hard case.
That's cool, isn't it? Yeah, it's one of the memories I have of my grandma's machine is the treadle and playing with it, making it go fast.
Yeah.
With the belt off. Of course.
With the belt off and disengaged so that the needle's not going up and down.
Yeah, that's right, because it used to fold into the table.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is neat.
It is really cool.
Yeah, it was neat. So, what are your plans for next year for the museum?
More of this year. And hopefully we'll get some more funding so that we just don't have that worry. Yeah. And then we can just concentrate on you know, just doing what we do, which is awesome. And I'd like to get some more shelving up so that we can sort of fit more machines.
If there's anybody watching who can do that, Heather would love to hear from you. We have
had some very good help with some carpentry and putting a few shelves up, but you know, it's best if it doesn't fall on just one person.
Exactly.
And the men's shed, I'd like to give them a little plug. They've been very kind and
awesome.
And they've done a little bit of carpentry for me and restoring some cabinet work and
that's cool
things. So that's been, and you know, some the reproduction hand cranks which are Chinese that I've got to put on some of the old machines, and then the little plastic handles have broken, and so they've put some beautiful wooden handles that just feel so nice to use.
Awesome.
So they've been absolutely lovely, and they've just done this for kindness. And then one day I gave them scones, and I think I got them in my pocket now.
Oh yeah, that's right. A bit of home baking.
I'd better be careful saying a thing like that. They'll get all.
But the men's shed, they're just a similar organisation to you, aren't they? They're community based and
passionate and sharing the love. And someone was saying, we need you know, things. We need more of these all over New Zealand, and I think they do, but it doesn't have to be a sewing place.
No.
You know, I think they just but there does need to be places all over New Zealand, in every town, little and big, where somebody can come and bring their passion that cares about people around them and that can share their passion so that other people can then, you know, they can
That's
grow
right.
a passion of their own. And there's just so much more that comes out of it. It's not just learning how to do a thing or, you know, something to do if you're bored or something. It just brings a whole sense of wellness, you know, and
That's right.
and you know, getting along with people, sort of, it's a wonderful thing, you know.
It's amazing.
yeah.
And I have been following you, and it's
Yeah.
great to see all those. Some people are regular on the posts, and some
Yes,
people are not.
that's right.
And seeing the new things that are
I
happening.
don't show a lot of new people because
No.
it's a when someone comes in for the first time, I was just popping in, and you know they might be a little bit, you know, sort of like nervous or what
Yeah.
have you, seen this new place, or even if they just jump in and are excited and happy and like it all. You don't want to be getting in their face with a phone taking photos
No.
and saying, "Oh, can I put you on Facebook?" You know. So if you do see, you know, just regulars all the time, and
Yeah.
it's not just them, but they
No.
you know. They're the kind of the core ones that come, you know, a lot, and it's nice to have some regulars that people can come in and they can see them doing things and ask them questions, and you know, just the friendly bods. Yeah, so
It's
it's
cool.
lovely.
It's really cool to see that community, and I think it is really important for all of these things. If you're passionate for something, is to start a little group like you have
Yeah.
and become passionate and share the knowledge. I'd love that to be happening sort of more in a thing for younger people. Do you get many young people coming through? Yeah.
We do. The youngest on a machine actually sewing a thing. Oh, she's so cute. She came in with her mother,
Yeah.
and the mother also had another little one on her hip, and she looks up at me and she said, "I was 3, but now I'm 4, and I can sew."
Oh, good on her.
In kindy, they'd given her a plastic needle with sacking and wool on it, you know, so she'd made a thing, you know, gone in and there. So straight away, I just took her and put her up at a hand crank, and there was a lady in front of her, a grown lady, and a grown lady behind her, and they were all using hand cranks just like she was. So she was on a big girl's machine, you know,
Wow.
on a grown-up's machine, and I put a thing and straight away just put a couple of squares in front of her, and she went round it, and she made a pin cushion, and then she made a bag or something, and then but you should have seen how proud she was when
that's
she
awesome.
left us, like, you know. And then the oldest woman that had come through was she was 92.
Wow.
And she came in with her daughters, and she didn't actually want to sew. She had sewn all her life and made things, but it was more of a chore.
Yeah.
And she was just absolutely delighted with everything she saw. It all reminded her of so much and jogged the memory. And, you know, she had such a spark in her eye. It was so lovely. And when I offered, said, "Oh, would you like to, you know, do a little sewing, turn the hand?" "No, thank you." but that was lovely. But yeah, we often have there's a few ladies that come in that are in their 60s, 70s, but we also have teenagers come through, and a few young ones, probably between 7 and 14, I suppose, and that regularly come in every holiday, almost every day, and definitely on the crafternoons, that's their chance to come in when you know it's not a school day.
No,
and
that's right.
We get a lot of young ones coming through because they're not.
That's cool.
There's only two schools now in Masterton. I think it's Makora and one more that still do sewing.
Yeah, no,
The
Makota
others,
do. Yeah, they've got a textiles class. I think.
Yes, yeah. The others have all
Dropped it.
they've all dropped them. Yeah, so it's yeah, so it's
So you've got a great thing going on there.
yeah,
All
yeah.
ages, all generations,
ages, yeah,
bringing
that's the
everything
one.
together. That's fantastic, isn't it?
yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
So if you want to support Heather, you could go to the Give a Little page. You can get in touch with her. You can give her a donation. She takes fabrics, notions, all that stuff, anything that's to do with sewing.
Yes.
And from what you say, knitting and crocheting, people do that there as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can donate anything.
embroidery,
And what a fantastic resource it is. I think it's great. Fantastic.
you, Nikki.
Yes, no, I am 100% behind what you're doing. It's amazing. And it's sort of similar to what the King Street art people are doing, I think, as well.
Yeah. Similar, only different.
Similar, only different.
They actually have a sewing machine there as well.
Wow,
like
yeah, they
one
do.
kind of thing, and supplies there for that. But they also have pottery.
Yeah, they do
and
art, whereas you're
art
doing textiles.
And yeah. So and then I concentrate in the one area.
Exactly, and you don't have to sort of be referred there either, which is
no. Well, anybody can walk into King Street.
Yeah,
as well.
they can as well. Yeah, that's right.
So it's, I think for a long time, a lot of people felt that King Street was the one place that they could go to.
Yes.
And King Street are wonderful. Some of my children go there. And
my son goes there.
Before I got busy with the cottage, I would go there at least once a week as well.
My son goes there.
So, but now they feel there's another place that they can go to, and several of the women who come regularly, they do go to King Street, and then they come and see me as well, and so. Which is really neat,
And it's really cool that you're all there's all these community resources hooking up together,
that's
like the
right.
men's shed, like that, like that.
And we've had support from the women's centre as well, and the community centre, and various other things that I might have forgotten to mention. But there you go. So it's we all need to pull together and make this place a real sort of like pulling together community.
I actually agree with you there, and I think that's a really good message for this time of year, that we should all be pulling together and coming together as a community.
That's right.
Just like the women in business group that I run, we've got all 600 women in there. You should join that, Heather. There might be some women in there to support you.
Yes.
But it's a big group of 600 women, all there to support each other. Because they might be going through things on their own. Because
later on you'll have to.
Yeah, I'll add you in.
Let me know.
I'll add you in.
Add me in.
I'll add you in.
Well, that sounds easy. I don't have to sign a thing. Or...
No. It's a Facebook group. It's just a Facebook group.
Oh, there you go. I'm in.
You're in.
like Flynn.
In like Flynn. And we'll get you in there. And I'm sure there'll be some women in there that will support your project.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Because there's lots of crafty ladies in there as well.
Yay.
So, solo or have got a few staff, but we come together just because we're on our own. But we're coming to the end, and it's always like this with you, Heather, because you're so amazing. I run out of time before I've asked you everything. I know. So you've been a fantastic guest today, Heather. Thank you very much for coming on my show. It's always lovely to have you, and congratulations on your award for one of the New Zealanders of the year. You should, yes. Yeah. Let's have a look at that award. She's got a gong here.
That was in a fancy box.
It's fantastic. Look at that.
Look
at that.
It's got my name on it. This is, just to prove.
That.
And I've got this.
It's
really overstated big black, ribbon thing.
Just so you can wear it out.
I haven't done this yet. I feel a bit funny because, I don't feel like I'm a hero. I'm just Heather. But that's.
No, but to those people who really need that service, you are a hero.
Yeah.
You are.
So I have to make a quilt block like that now because it's got this nice pattern.
I think so. Yeah. It's very interesting, isn't it?
So.
Well, that's amazing. Congratulations on that award.
You.
Well-deserved award there.
I feel funny.
I know, it's the big thing, isn't it? So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to Jane and Wairarapa Osteopathy for sponsoring my show and my business Fuzzbox Designs. And I'm just going to check whether I've got any messages from the women in business to shout out before I go off air. Gosh, I don't think I have any messages this morning. Okay, so I'll just give a shout out to some of those ladies out there. Thank you for being in our group for the whole year. It's coming up to that festive season. We've got our third Friday meet-up next week at Don Luciano. So if you want to come along to that, that's cool. We meet on the first Friday of the month at Cliville Bakery at 8:30 and the third Friday of the month in Masterton at Don Luciano. So if you want to come along to any of those meetups, that's cool. You can join the group on Facebook, Wairarapa Women in Business. You can watch all of these shows on my website, which is wairapabusinesswomen.nz. And also, if you want to follow what I'm doing with CrossFit, because I've got a vlog, that's Nikki's CrossFit Journey.nz, and that's quite interesting. And if you want to join the women's workout that Napera French has put on through CrossFit Manaya, you can get in touch with Na. All the details are on our Facebook page. There's a Wednesday lunchtime workout. It's limited to 10. There's 3 places left. And it's real good fun. And we do CrossFit for 45 minutes. So get yourself along there if you want to do a lunchtime workout with us. It's women only. And that's fantastic. You've been listening to Nothing Personal with Nikki King on ROFM 92.7. We'll be back next week with another fabulous guest. I don't know how they'll top Heather. So I'll see you next week. Goodbye, guys.